How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I wanted to get this AI to the castle kind of video done. In the end, I was going to build a bridge, and I think I've found certainly an easier route. Like, it's a longer route and all the rest of it, but it saves possibly, well, most likely having to build bridges. So yeah, the fact that they want you to get to the castle with an AI was pretty ambitious to begin with. The other option, there is like a back way sort of out or slash into the castle. I've sort of done the footage in reverse there, but yeah, you drive that way. You'd have to build a bridge about there up to here, and then you could head that way, but I'm not even too sure the AI would get through like the little gap at the back. That's what she said. Yeah, you'd build a bridge about there. For whatever reason, it's telling me like I can't quite place it, but I've tried it sort of 10 or 15 times with different bridges. I'd go for a wide bridge in the end, because a narrow one, I wouldn't fancy your chances. But yeah, in the end, I kind of went the other way out of the facility I'm kind of located in. Went round the bottom, and then there's a set of rocks there, and they're actually, unlike a lot of rocks in this game, the bigger ones, you can actually pick them up with a winch. Those ones you can't, so I think your option with that would be to just take a dumper full of sand, kind of smooth it out. And for this one, I am going to have to babysit the AI a bit. Not as bad as I thought, well, ish. I mean, it didn't fill me with confidence when it bloody got stuck there on practically nothing. Yeah, I've tried sort of having the camera panned out so you can sort of see the route I'm taking. Probably actually looks worse in the sun. Yeah, when I realised it was a van, I was like, bloody hell. Have I got a mule nearby? Because probably going to need it for a bit of encouragement. So I cleared that area. I could see around the back of that building where the train tracks are that I could just cut around that way instead. Which, again, the bit of the footage I just shown at the beginning, I kind of got at the end of the video, so that's why the map. The route was already drawn that way. But yeah, it's one of these little vans. However, the good news is, you've only got to get one there. So as soon as this, you tell it to go, dispatch vehicles, the line starts turning green behind it, which, I was like, at least that's not too bad. If you had to try and get 3, 4, 5 vehicles there, or the lorries and all sorts, it'd probably be a bit awkward. But for one, I was like, sod it, I can sort of babysit him, follow him. I've drawn a line that, yeah, in theory, for the most part, like, I could certainly drive it. But yeah, again, we're dealing with a van. So, it's actually pretty quick. I'm semi-convinced, either when they did that patch 1.5, they've made this vehicle even slower, or a little bit like it used to happen on SnowRunner, where certain maps and certain terrains were kind of pre-coded, it felt like, to make you only allowed to go a certain speed, even if, strictly speaking, your vehicle is more than good enough to probably go a bit faster. That's where, to be fair, High Range was great, because you could just kind of ram it in high range, and within reason it'd drop the hammer. Yeah, I don't know if this map is pre-coded to make you go a bit slower, but this Mule recently, to me, is feeling gutless, and I think I would have noticed it more. I don't know, when the Mule's one of the first, it is the first truck I bought. Yeah, I had the genius idea. I thought, well, as I got to about here, even though he's actually not got stuck yet, I thought, oh, I wonder if I can just pick him up like I can other vehicles. I'll just pop him in the sideboard, and I'll take him there myself. But, yeah, it wouldn't let me. I'd got the crane out, I cut a bit of the footage, he was honking his horn like a mad one. Yeah, it just wouldn't let me pick the vehicle up. I got to this point, and I've actually got a mission where I've got to drive to that location, so this is why I now turn off. Because I didn't want to trigger that mission. But bear it in mind for later, because that's the mission I did, basically to unlock the Zikz, which will be towards the end of this video. I sort of not accidentally unlocked it, but I didn't realise it was this mission. And yeah, you'll see how I ended up realising I've even got one. Tried to climb up here, couldn't, but again, I do like this game the way it feels like there's more options and a bit of chance to it and a bit of figuring things out. I did tend to find, say by comparison with SnowRunner, I still prefer SnowRunner, by the way, just the physics, I think there is a genuine like improvement. Yeah, you sort of, once you got stuck, you just fire out winches and all sorts. This game feels a little bit more like there's a spectrum of hope rather than just kind of yes or no. In the time it took me just to nip around, I only edited out about like 5 seconds or something, if that. This truck had absolutely dropped the hammer. I thought, like, bloody hell, I even for a second thought, has he crashed or whatever and it's reset the mission. He made it to here. I went to ram him over the rocks. He just reversed at the last second, which I was kind of swerving in to give him a bump. Yeah, while I was there, he tapped out and it said mission or whatever. Route failed. I just redispatched vehicles and he started from here, thankfully. I'm still not entirely sure why sometimes vehicles spawn from when you last, like, or where they got stuck. It might possibly be once you've completed the mission or not, but sometimes when they get stuck and you restart them, they just restart from the start of the route. Whereas, yeah, thankfully, the van was starting kind of where he got stuck. For whatever reason, though, considering how well he did to get here, and he kind of burnt off and lost me while I was going around that location thing, like, what the hell is he even getting stuck on here? It's the smoothest, nicest ground you could possibly imagine. I think the bit I just drove over, like, a minute ago was worse than this. Yeah, generally speaking, this seems to be a good idea, though. Bring a vehicle. I mean, the Mule was working for me. Just keep pushing the AI. For the most part, I have to say, like, the AI's been pretty decent to me. This van gets stuck ridiculously easy. That's what I already knew it was going to be one of them. But as far as actually following the routes, they've been pretty good for me, except for one in this map, Sunken, where you start the game. I kind of calls it like Summon Gateway or whatever. From there to the Steel Beams factory, I've got a Voron that's an AI driver, and I don't know, for the first day or two it was fine. I don't know if they did some kind of like secret patch going on, but he's just a complete crackhead now. He follows the line almost all the way, and then he starts steering and just goes around in circles, hits buildings. You keep, look, every time I watch it, almost every time I watch him, he makes the route, so it's like, oh, cool, and then you go off and do something else, and 2 minutes later it's flagging up saying route failed. And yeah, you look at where he got stuck, and it's like, how the hell did you get over there? He's like 5 truck lengths away from the nice, straight, simple line I've built. I'm half tempted to build like a fat bridge over there, or fill it in all like with sand to out of principle, but we'll get around to that. Yeah, like going around here, the van was a little bit sketchy, but overall, again, it's the other than that little adjustment I did where I went round near the train track, this was the first line I drew and everything. And yeah, like like now, it's the oddest bits that it gets stuck on, and it doesn't really. It's not stuck on a rock. The terrain doesn't even particularly seem deformable here. My vehicle, like, yeah, no tyres are sinking. All seems pretty standard stuff. It's like, don't you do it? I thought he was going to fall into that swamp at the side. So you can see right at the top of the screen is the castle. And yeah, thank God they've only made it so just once this van gets here. After that, so far, I've kept telling the truck to drive again, or van or whatever, but it just keeps getting stuck where I pushed it over those first rocks. And I kind of got distracted tonight doing a few other things, so far I haven't taken like a dump truck there or whatever and patched that little bit up. And then yeah, we get like, I've drawn the line nice straight down the middle over this little bridge. He hits the wall. Almost, well, I was going to ram him regardless, but he sort of made it off, and then he starts steering off to the right. And it's like, look, I was even to show myself, like, the line's just going across the bridge. What is he doing? But yeah, somehow he managed to fuck it about 5 foot from victory. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Tried to give him a round, like, fuck it at this point. I don't care if he flies off the bloody bridge. He did worse than that, he vanished. So, I had to draw the line going over, like, to the left of the bridge, practically, just to get him to go down the middle of the bridge. Which, again, in fairness, is one of the few times that he's actually sort of ignored my line. And yeah, Incommunicado and all those, Aftermath, they've been pretty fair. Again, they get stuck a lot, but it's a road building game, so I understand that. I'll just go there and patch the road up. But yeah, whatever reason, Sunken, they haven't employed the best. That's what the nice thing is, though. Just once you do it once, Kelly pops up, mission done, kind of unlocks future things. At this castle as well, there's a toy truck that's worth 10 grand, and then this green barrel that's got like an eagle wing thing painted on it is worth 40 grand. I packed the other things up, these big tanks. You know, my brother worked with a guy once who, one of them got blown off a stack of containers, one of those big white drum things with a steel cage around it. and landed on this guy's head, and he actually, surprisingly, was like, alright, apart from it, well, say alright, he was alright apart from it fucked his spine up, but considering it flew off like 5 containers high and hit him, yeah, they're pretty bloody heavy. And yeah, somehow it didn't pop his head like a watermelon, but fucked his spine up. Right, so a couple of reasons I left this bit of footage in. One, I drove the back way out of the castle, which gives you an idea of basically trace your steps backwards. That's the route your AI'd have to take, and yeah, maybe if you babysit it, but even just making it around the corner, going up that steep hill to the castle, I'm not too sure. For some weird reason, after I grabbed all these items, I picked a really awkward way to drive back, essentially head into the construction zone to cash these in. Got to this point, I already knew it on the map that I could see it was a bit gouged out and all that, but I didn't quite realise how much. First person view does come in quite handy though when you're trying to thread your vehicle through trees. I quite like as well, for what it's worth, the steering feels like it flicks around quite quick, even if it's an illusion. Yeah, steering wheel flies around. So when I just got stuck on the other side, that you could see this long fallen tree. I'm now at the other end of it. I just reversed back, drove through the trees again, but the footage was kind of like the camera's practically stuck in branches the entire time, so I just cut it out. And yeah, again, I do end up quite enjoying myself once I'm actually just driving along, kind of. I suppose even now I'm not on a mission, so I'm not really like, it's not time sensitive for me. I'm just finding a route back to the construction zone. But yeah, for whatever reason I picked an awkward one, but I end up quite enjoying, like, one, this mule vehicle, other than the fact it needs more power and torque. But when it comes to stuff like this, you've got the low range, which works nicely. I think they've actually got that pretty well balanced. But yeah, it doesn't, like, I think stuff, I've said it before, but it's better weighted, it doesn't tip as easily as my front end starts to slip down here. That's what she said. Normally, I think most vehicles, like in SnowRunner, probably would have tipped at that point. They've almost used that as part of the balancing act of SnowRunner, that vehicles tip quite easily. I tend to find in this game they don't really, which I suppose is just as well, because like, I haven't got a winch on this thing, so obviously in SnowRunner I'll be able to fire one off to one of those trees and I'd be away. But again, like, it doesn't feel sort of black and white, like, oh, I'm stuck. Trying it in low range, try it out at low range, steering around a bit. The tyres are actually still cutting through the mud. I was more worried I was going to get snagged on a branch on this tree. That's why I was trying to avoid it. But I was slowly moving along. Yeah, you can see there, it did actually push a branch out of the way. I've had... branches have fought me back pretty hard on this game. Even like those fallen trees, when you just catch like the little 1-inch thick pointy part of the end of the tree, it snags your vehicle like a beast, but for whatever reason those branches moved out of the way. So got as far as this salt mine thing, and again I figured I'll cut through here because the this mule's got a pretty high up like air intake, so it can go pretty deep, and you can almost tell now like the shallow water's got like little sort of ripples on it. The deeper bits are almost like completely flat smooth water, so you could sort of tell really that this was going to happen. I didn't realise it was going to go this deep, but I'm only just enough to stall the engine. And one thing I do like about this game that I've noticed is like there, I just kept flooring it, but the game actually gives you like a second or two when you're officially engine flooded. The game gives you about a second or two. If you hit reverse pretty quick, again this game can be a little bit long getting into the gear, but you actually have a chance of like backing out of situations if it's about to stall your engine. Yeah, sent in the Land Rover. It did pull it forward a little bit. In its defence, I think the mule's bumper's probably caught on like it's quite a sharp angled hole I've fallen in. So what I thought I'd try is pouring sand into there, because I said the other day about I might bury a vehicle, and someone said like you can't bury them, the sand kind of goes under the vehicle. And when they said it I was like, oh yeah, actually I have poured sand and it's kind of moved a vehicle out of the way. Yeah, long story short, you can't bury a vehicle, so even though I practically poured the sand on the mule, the sand all just goes underneath it and kind of filled the hole in. And then yeah, raised the mule up enough to where like its air intake was out of the water. I was able to fire it up, drive up like the little bank I've just created with sand, and yeah, we're out of there. Yeah, when I got to this shop I just wanted to see what prices things were, just to confirm. The reason I've purposely parked like this is so it only cashes in the first bits. That was 50 grand for those two, which is 10 grand for the toy truck. So yeah, 40 grand for the barrel. And yeah, apparently it's a Warhammer 40k theme, which, yeah, 40 grand barrel might make sense. Those big white container things only were like 300 quid each. I mean, I got them, they were at the castle, I may as well throw them in there. And the tyres 250 each, but yeah, so not amazing. Main things were the barrel and the toy truck. And then yeah, back to this location I had to visit. I wasn't even going to be in the video, I just thought I'll go and quickly get that done, because to be honest, yeah, I keep ending up looping around it, so I don't accidentally do the mission. And Kelly popped up saying something about there's problems with the power station. And yeah, when she said, but don't worry, I'll make sure you have the wheels for the job, I was like, oh, well, that obviously implies I'm getting some kind of vehicle. But I didn't really think about it too much, because I then got distracted. That one bit of sand I'd poured to get the mule out, whilst I had the dumper truck here and all the rest of it, I figured, sod it, I'm going to make a little road just from this side to where you go off north on the map. This is one thing that I do find this Bowhead handy for, is that you can turn it sideways. It's not needed or anything like that, but yeah, it does sort of offer another method of doing things. I do quite like the variety in that sense. So I'll come and grab me dozer. This is just sort of loaf in the background, goddamn professional, he's on top of the mountain. Yeah, I bought this, so it's actually like the newer version. Funny enough, for what it's worth, just when I went into interior view like this, it's pissing down with rain outside, as it tends to do in this game. When I went into the interior view, it actually gave me quite an accurate feeling of being inside a vehicle where you're not getting, like, it's nice and dry in the vehicle, but it's pissing down outside. I don't know how to explain it, it was just, yeah. I think they've kind of, for whatever reason, actually felt sort of pretty realistic. But yeah, this is the dozer I bought that's obviously got improved stats versus the rusty dozer. And yeah, overall I quite like it. I feel like it's fixed the steering a bit more, got a bit more oomph to it, a little bit more kind of snappy on the pickup, I reckon. Moving some boulders out the way. One nice thing, if you're moving boulders with the sand flattening mode, is then when you reverse, it automatically picks the bucket up, so you don't have to keep fiddling around in manual mode. Yeah, so started flattening a road going over there, and it's going pretty nicely. Then I got a bit carried away again, started building a road going over the other side. It was going, well, it was still going great, but I was able to keep just refilling the dump truck for about halfway, and then I was outside the radius of the quarry, so I had to keep reversing each time. That's where the Bowhead can catch you a little bit, because when you dump the sand, it dumps it in a peak, but it doesn't like reversing over a peak. This was just an example of it. It can go quite deep. The air intake, you can see like the black sort of snorkel thing on the right of the vehicle. But because the vehicle's quite wide and chunky and all the rest of it, to drown the vehicle, you've got to dunk like the entire cab of the Bowhead into the water, and then it's got to keep going by the time it reaches the air intake. And yeah, it'd take a pretty massive hole, I know that's what she said, but to swallow the Bowhead, because the snorkel's not like right at the front of the cab, so by the time the water's getting close to the air intake, it's just chances are the tracks have dug in and the front starts lifting back up. So yeah, it's quite a good one for going in deep water, because one, it's massive, and two, the air intake overall, I mean, I was driving through all these different sections, I don't think I've flooded it once. So these are the roads I ended up building. Pretty nice, if I do say so myself. The road building is honestly pretty enjoyable in this game, I think. When the mission requires me to just patch one little bit, I'm a bit like, ugh, God, now I've got to bring all the vehicles to do that. But once you decide, sod it, I'm patching. Yeah, I sat here for a couple of hours just messing around doing that. And then for whatever reason, I didn't even know it was going to happen, but just as I drove forward enough, I triggered some kind of cutscene where it introduced me to the Zikz 612C. I was pretty happy by then. Yeah, there's my road and that behind me. I just the truck appears here at the mountain garage or something it's called. Horn's definitely not as loud on this thing. But yeah, as a quick look at it, I'm not really done much with it. Exact first thing I did with it was extend the crane full height, thinking, yeah, I might have a chance of poking my floating concrete slabs down on Incommunicado. But one thing I did notice, just went a little drive here down to where my vehicles are. Overall though, feel pretty good. Definitely happy that we've got like a massive crane on the game now. So yeah, one, I can get my concrete slabs. But there's also other things that might come in handy. However, one thing I did notice, I don't think the anchors are as good. They're not massive for the size of the vehicle. So I went to pick this up and I didn't even think it would struggle. I was quite surprised now when the crane started tilting. Did the winches again, I thought maybe I didn't let the crane legs settle, but they're definitely settled by now. And it won't pick this bowhead up. And the reason I mention it is because they've called this the Bowhead 30T, and I assumed the 30T stood for 30 tons, which I thought it'd hold 30 tons of sand. But it doesn't, it only holds 20. So then my logic was like, oh, maybe, you know, they called it a 30T, 30 ton, because in real life it'd hold 20 tons of sand and maybe the vehicle weighs 10 tons. And it totals 30, you know, it makes sense if you've got a low loader trailer that can hold 30 tons, like you'd want to know what the vehicle's roughly weighing when it's fully loaded. But the stats on this crane say it can lift 40 tons. And long story short, I mean, in its defence, I suppose strictly speaking, it wasn't not lifting it, it was just making the crane tilt over. But yeah, that's kind of the odd conclusion I came to. The new version in the garage also has the same stats as far as that goes, so there's not really any gain I can see to buying a new one. Maybe it picks up speed a little bit quicker, but the actual raw stats of the crane length and weight it can lift seem to be the same. So yeah, I'm not knocking it, because I might have just picked like maybe that dump truck thing is just like ridiculously heavy, but it wasn't really liking it too much. I tried lifting it up from the front as well, and it made me sort of do an endo. Yeah, and then built my road. For whatever reason, I always need to climb like a little hill when I'm nearby in a vehicle. I don't really know why I'm doing it, but catch myself do it quite a lot on video. Yeah, there's my road. Pretty happy with myself. And yeah, that's how to get the Zikz. Do that power station thing, and then just drive near your base. That's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.